ఎంతైనా కష్టపడని సరైన ప్లానింగ్ లేకపోతే ఆ కష్టం వృధా అవుతుంది. ఇదే గుణపాఠం 2014 ఓటమి తర్వాత జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి నేర్చుకున్నారు. 2019లో అదే తప్పు చేయకూడదని ఒక పక్కా ప్లానింగ్ ప్రకారమే తన క్యాంపెయిన్ జరగాలని ఐపాక్ను తన పొలిటికల్ కన్సల్టింగ్ టీమ్గా పెట్టుకున్నారు. ఆ ఐపాక్లో ఇక్కడ మనతో కొంతమంది క్రియాశీలకంగా ఐపాక్ అనాలిసిస్ చేసిన టీం మనతో ఉన్నారు. సో మీరు what exactly is your role? What do you have done for this campaign?
Me as you as in me? Okay. So my name is Shantanu Singh. I'm the campaign lead from IPAC side. So I take care of the like end-to-end thing. And do you want me to introduce the team? Yeah, so this is Khurshid. He used to take care of East and West Godavari for us, and apart from this, he used to manage frontals for us, all your student wing and all.
సో ఈస్ట్ అండ్ వెస్ట్ గోదావరిలో లాస్ట్ టైం తెలుగుదేశం ఎక్కువ సీట్లు గెలిచింది అండ్ ఈసారి కంప్లీట్ రివర్స్ సీన్ జరిగింది. సో వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎఫర్ట్ మీరు అక్కడ ఈస్ట్ అండ్ వెస్ట్ గోదావరిలో పెట్టారు?
సో ఈస్ట్ అండ్ వెస్ట్ గోదావరిలో బేసిక్లీ లాస్ట్ 15-20 డేస్లో టార్గెటెడ్ క్యాంపెయినింగ్, అంటే జగన్ గారు కాకుండా షర్మిల గారు ప్లస్ విజయమ్మ గారు రావటం, ప్లస్ అక్కడ టార్గెటెడ్గా అంటే లాస్ట్లో అన్న కానుక ఒక క్యాంపెయిన్ చేసాం. అది టార్గెట్గా ఆ పర్టికులర్ జోన్లో అక్కడ జనాలు కన్ఫ్యూజన్గా ఉన్నారు ఓటు ఇవ్వాలో వద్దా అని. సో ఆ ఫైనల్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇవ్వటం త్రూ డిఫరెంట్ లీడర్స్ ఇన్ దట్ ఏరియా మేడ్ ద చేంజ్.
సో వాట్ ఆర్ ఏం డిఫికల్ట్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ మీకు అనిపించినాయి ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ చూస్తున్నాం?
సో ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్లో ఏంటంటే జనరల్గా జనాలు ఓటేస్తే ఒకే పార్టీకి కన్ఫర్మ్గా కంప్లీట్గా వేస్తారు వన్ సైడెడ్గా. ప్లస్ మా పార్టీలో తక్కువ సీట్స్ ఉండడం వల్ల ఎక్కువ పెద్ద లీడర్స్ లేరు, పెద్ద ఫేసెస్. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ దెందులూరు చింతమనేని గారు పెద్ద పెద్ద లీడర్స్ ఉన్నారు. సో ఒక ఆ ట్రస్ట్, ఆ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ తీసుకురావటం కాదు, ఈ లీడర్స్ కూడా ఆ లీడర్ స్టేచర్ మ్యాచ్ చేస్తారు. మొత్తం స్టేట్ డిసైడ్ చేసేసారు జగన్ గారిని ఓట్ చేయడానికి, మీరు కూడా చేయాలి అని. అది ఎలా చేస్తామంటే ఎక్కడ చూసినా కూడా వైఎస్ఆర్సీపీఏ కనపడటం, ఎక్కడ ఉంటే కూడా వైఎస్ఆర్సీపీ గురించే మాట్లాడటం. అది ఎలా ఇన్షూర్ చేసామంటే మళ్ళీ క్యాంపెయినింగ్, దాని తర్వాత సోషల్ మీడియాలో పర్టికులర్లీగా ఈస్ట్ వెస్ట్ సంబంధించిన పోలవరం పట్టుకోవచ్చు, ఏదైనా క్యాంపెయిన్ కన్సన్ట్రేటెడ్గా విత్ ఎఫర్ట్స్ అక్కడ పెట్టాం. అండ్ యూ కెన్ సీ దట్ 28 out of 34 is a huge thing. Yeah.
మీరు నార్త్ కోస్టల్లో కూడా లాస్ట్ టైం టీడీపీ హ్యాస్ నార్త్ కోస్టల్ ఆల్సో లాస్ట్ టైం టీడీపీ హ్యాస్ వాన్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ సీట్స్. అండ్ వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎఫర్ట్ యూ హ్యావ్ పుట్ ఇన్ టు విన్ మోర్ సీట్స్ ఇన్ నార్త్ కోస్ట్?
So basically, the strategy is more or less is the same across the state. It's based out of the campaigns that we run, and particularly specifically for North Coastal, there were few things like there were a lot of issues in like kidney related issue was there in the Srikakulam area. Then Araku, there are a lot of mafia and Naxal issues. So where all the issues where that people connect with those issues, we try to design and execute those kind of campaigns. Plus the cadre was so demotivated because they felt that this is the area where TDP is anyhow is going to win. So to keep the momentum through the campaigns and the right choice of the candidates, and the best part is the last 1 month I would say, where we did extensive door to door with the extensive network of volunteers. So that really made the difference there. Now you can see out of earlier we used to have 6, 7, 8 seats. Now it's more than 29. So more or less that's it.
So there was cyclones Titli and Hudhud. And everybody thought by looking at the performance of the Chief Minister, this region would vote for him again. And there was a general perception also, if TDP would get some seats, it would be in the northern coastal region.
I beg to disagree. I don't think there was such perception. In fact, there was a lot of, which was the last one? Titli, right? At the time of Titli, we were there in North Coastal because Yatra was there. The performance of TDP government was not good at all. And I don't know who told you that the people were satisfied. In fact, we know that in Ichapuram their MLA was like, people in fact like told him to go away. Exactly. Then 2-3 places or that same place. I think this might have been the media perception, but that was not at all at the ground.
Because after that only we had Padayatra going. And the kind of petitions we were used to get, and kind of people who were coming to meet Jagan Garu were more or less totally affected, and they used to say that we lost this, we lost that. If you come to power, we'll
In
be
fact,
able to get it.
YSRCP was the first party to respond to Titli. First set of relief materials were sent by YSRCP leaders. First set of political leaders who reached out to the spot to help people were from YSRCP. So I don't know where was the feel-good factor for TDP's performance in Titli management.
Right, so what difficulties did you see while campaigning? While campaigning for the North?
Okay, so as I told you earlier, the cadre was demotivated because they thought that this is anyways TDP stronghold, and I'm talking about before 2 years, before we came in. That was the major challenge we faced. Second, although there were big leaders like Botsa Satyanarayan Garu was there for Vijayanagaram, for Srikakulam, Dhamana Garu was there, a lot of leaders like that. But charisma was not. I mean, the proper connect of the leaders with the crowd, or I would say with the cadre, was not there. So we have to design few campaigns for the cadre management, or I would say the cadre engagement. So that's where Kutumbam and all those kind of campaigns came into picture. So that's how, I mean, I will say we proceed.
What is exact your role and how you coordinated the media?
So basically the thing is the media team here disseminates information to journalists and at the same time tries to collect feedback from district level journalists as to what the perception is in a particular assembly constituency or in a particular district or so on. So that is broadly what the role is, and we manage this. Along with this, we also have our digital media team which works on this. So if you would have looked at the entire campaign, you would have seen that YSRCP's digital media management was much better than any other party, and that was largely because we had organic support. People from the ground supported us. We actually looked out, seek people who were YSRCP sympathizers and supporters. We engaged them on our network. We got them on board, and through them we disseminated the information of YS Jagan and YSRCP party to the rest of the state. Which is why you could see that we were leaps and bounds ahead of the TDP in terms of the social media.
You saw the entire campaign. Have you anticipated that this kind of victory you're gonna get 150? Even surveys, exit poll surveys said 130, 126. But have you expected 152?
The number we gave to Jagan Garu was 145.
145. So how did you coordinate with Prashant Kishore? Because has he directly involved in the entire process, or how he guided you from being not here?
He has been mentor of IPAC since Bihar days. So after spending 4 years, like working closely with someone for 4 years, sort of like the thought process is quite in line. And see, I don't have a political background. None of us, most of us are engineers. So we don't know much about politics. A lot of things that we learned about politics, we learned from him. So thought process, alignment, operational synergy and all came quite organically. And in case he was always there to guide us. But yeah, like now we were also taking few shots on our own.
So there was saying this election was totally bad for Chandrababu with just 3 words. That is bye bye Babu. And how did you design that? How did you design that bye bye Babu?
So actually, all the slogans and campaign names and all, we have a process in which there's a small team which will ideate. Okay, this should be there, that should be there, and then we do a poll amongst us. So on our WhatsApp groups, we'll float all of them. We'll poll on it, and whichever gets like the highest votes, then top 2-3 will take some external input also, and then feel free. Bye bye Babu is actually quite interesting because the first campaign that was started was Ninnu Namam Babu. Pardon my pronunciation, I might be getting it wrong. Correct, yeah. So that was the one which party took to the ground. So we started it, but the idea was to take it to each and every village. So we started doing that, and in parallel to that, when we do a campaign, we float a lot of digital properties, as you were saying, like try to create social media engagement on it. So one of the teammates came up with the idea, let's do this bye bye Babu thing. It was there in discussion since we started this campaign ki we'll do bye bye Babu. So we were doing Ninnu Namamu Babu. Someone floated this bye bye Babu thing. It got a lot of traction. Then 2-3 more posts were done. it again started getting traction. Then we tried a small thing. We told one few leaders that in your village meetings, just let people say bye bye Babu, and the response to that was tremendous. So we thought, okay, now since then this I'm talking about Jan Feb period. So we thought, okay, now let's take it to the ground. And then in the last phase, Sharmila Garu went with the Bye Bye Babu Yatra. So we started with that, and then it caught up.
People chanting it.
Yeah, I mean, it actually came from if in a way the idea was already there, but our belief in it to put in so much faith that to get someone to get someone with such a huge mass appeal as Sharmila Garu to personally go on a yatra with this slogan. That faith came when we saw people's response in Ninnu Namo Babu campaign.
So this
And even if you look at the speeches that Sharmila Garu gave, you'd see that she would only say the first part of it, Praja Thirpu, and before she could complete, people would join in and shout Bye Bye Babu. So she didn't even have to utter those words on almost any of the speeches that she gave.
and there are many TikTok videos.
There are. So there have been DJ remixes and whatnot of it, people dancing to it.
How far do you think this Rawali Jagan, Khawali Jagan, and that song, what you designed for that slogan, how far this song and this slogan kind of thing helped in Jagan campaign?
Helped. I mean, see, it is a catchy song.
Yeah,
It is the most watched. I guess what the number is 3
So
crores,
it
30
became-
million
It
or
became
something.
the most watched song within the
Yeah.
first week itself. And right now the count is around 2.2 crore or 2.3 crores and counting.
So, what it represents is a feeling. And since the song became such a big hit, it was the excitement that was there in the cadre, that the excitement, the hope that people had with Jagan Garu, it became palpable. They got something to show their enthusiasm. And that's why the song became so popular. And that's how we.
Major benefit of these kind of things, like when we came here, we saw a lot of songs were there on YCP, on Jagananna, on a lot of leaders, but this song was we put so much effort in lyrics, in all those kind of small component of any song, and if everybody in the state is talking about the same thing, that's where the buzz is created.
People actually started singing it like a movie song, normally humming in the bathrooms and all.
From Srikakulam till the Rayalaseema, everyone singing the same song, talking about the same thing. So it's all about that one thing about which everybody is speaking about.
Kind of a title song for YSRCP. You have a
It-
movie,
it-
you have different
it,
songs.
It gives some sort of like an excitement to the whole campaign, no? Like we always try to, like in Bihar also we did, there was this song called Fir Se Nitish Hai. Bihar mein
Bihar mein
Bahar hai,
Bahar ho,
Nitish
Nitish
Kumar
Kumar
ho. So, in Chaunda hai Punjab, Captain the Sarkar. So songs, when we design
have been a part of
campaign,
the
we
mix.
try to put one song over there.
And
It adds up,
and the
yeah.
interesting thing is that Rawali Jagan Kawali Jagan was coined way back, and it was actually a door-to-door campaign that we did last year. And we saw the kind of traction it got. So when we were walking with Jagan Garu on the Padyatra, you could hear people screaming the same slogan from the sidelines. So you knew that this slogan is already connected to people. Now you just have to take it to the next level with this song. And that is exactly what happened.
After the polling, Jagan has come to your office, and you people have called him the CM, and you introduced him as the chief minister way before. Like
After the polling.
I have an answer for that. So the thing is, you would see wherever he would go for a speech or for a rally, people would shout CM CM. So we tried to recreate that in a light moment. It was mostly that. Although we were convinced that he's going to become the CM because we knew the numbers, we had seen what the inputs were coming from the ground. But that was more of a light moment and nothing else.
We predicted 145. Obviously, we were
So
confident.
we knew he was winning, but it was mostly to recreate what was
And it
happening
was,
there.
it was not us who started it, by the way. It started with a public meeting in East Kakinada. Imagine like 30,000 people were chanting CM CM. So, you might want to give us credit for that. We didn't start it. It was started by people of Andhra Pradesh. This is something that we learned from them. And we're
And
like,
we just
okay,
tried to
we'll also
recreate
do it.
that moment in
Every campaign has some hard tasks, and have you faced any one like biggest hard task in this campaign? Is there any big challenge you have faced in this?
So we, if I tell you honestly, there was something that we were told since beginning. So what we were told was that no matter what you do, so I was one of the first ones to come over here. So when we were looking for apartments and all, no, so you would talk to people, they ask you what you do and all. So what they used to tell is, no matter what you do, Babu is such a shrewd politician, you will not be able to defeat him. So he said, okay. Then, like towards the end, the more the momentum was building, they were like, no matter what you do, 11th ko voting hai, 9th ka night mein Babu will do something you'll not win. You're like, what is it that he does? Like, what's this thing? So maybe, but fortunately we never faced like whatever Babu did. Yeah, but we were prepared for that. Ki, acha, something will Babu do on 9th night.
There was a huge expectation mismatch.
Yeah.
Because when I came, my friends were like, I am from the state itself, so my friends were like, piche kinda, like, nizanga, you will do for YSRCP and you will make CBN lose. And I was like, oh, is it that difficult? Like, but then the 2 years happened, the same friend saying, oh, 151 like that. Because you said I tried, you will not go to 51 also. So that huge mismatch of the expectations.
It helped us because
Yeah.
so we were doing surveys on a quite a regular basis to see how much edge we have on each seat. So because of that, this whole thing that something Babu will do. So wherever we had like 5%, we were like add 3-4% more into that. Try to get more and more communities on the side because everyone is saying that Babu will do something.
So you should be having, because even Jagan Mohan Reddy has said he is good at media management, media channels are supporting. How difficult was it to coordinate with media?
So it was because basically we got very little traction, especially in the Telugu media. But over time we were persistent, we kept reaching out to people, and over time we got covered. So it was more about putting the hard work in than anything else. And to the last question that you were asking, the one thing that was very difficult or one thing that would stand out, I think that would be that we needed to strengthen the booth cadre of the party, because that was probably the difference between the two parties in 2014. The vote share was so less, and it was mostly because TDP managed the polls closer to the voting date better than YSRTP did in 2014. So when we came here, the first thing we started doing was we wanted 11 booth members, one convener, 10 workers on each and every booth across the state. And by the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019, we actually managed to get 5 lakh booth workers, active booth workers of YSRCP, and got the quota of 11 members on 80% of the booths. So these Samara Shankaravam addresses that you saw, those are not public addresses. Those were basically booth cadre meetings. So to get to that level, we had to put in a lot of effort over the last 2 years. So that would be one thing that would stand out for me.
Yeah, but it was like, I would not call it a very tough task as such. I mean, it was a big task, but party was very enthusiastic about whole thing. Like, we actually, like, all of us, yeah. So there was a lot of enthusiasm in the party to build that structure. That they also, what the thing that Asba said, that they also realized that in 2014 they lagged that, and that's why they suffered. They lost by what, 1% margin? 1.6. So there was a lot of enthusiasm in them also to build that cadre. And frankly, if my client is enthusiastic about a solution, then as a consultant, half of my job is done.
So my final question is, what I was surprised actually by looking at the result of Rayalaseema. 52 out of 52, you won 49. Is there any magic happened in Rayalaseema? No, I thought you would win more seats, but 49 is something behind anybody's imagination.
The 3 that we lost, we were expecting to win those also.
You even thought Chandrababu Naidu would lose.
Chandrababu Naidu, see, his tally got down to what, 29,000? 29,000.
Not even in the top 10.
Rahul Gandhi got down from 1 lakh to losing by 10,000. Chandrababu Naidu can also lose next time.
So you expected Chandrababu Naidu to win?
Not expected, but obviously the effort was to win. In every seat, we don't start work on any seat assuming that no seat can be won. If Indira Gandhi can lose election, now if Rahul Gandhi can lose election from Amethi, then obviously Chandrababu Naidu can also lose from Kuppam. You just need to have the right candidate, put in right amount of effort, give the candidate right sort of resources. Anyone can be defeated in India.
So now I think you guys need a holiday.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Are you planning for an holiday?
Yeah, after voting, we went, almost all of us took a break. But yeah, so yeah, we'll go somewhere. We'll try to chill out.
Comparatively now it's ease. After 2 years, like comparatively we are kind of
Yeah.
chill.
Congratulations and thank you for talking to TV9. Congratulations. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ. సో ఇది ఐపాక్కి సంబంధించిన క్రియాశీలకమైన టీము. వీళ్ళందరూ పూర్తిగా ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కొక్క రీజన్ని డివైడ్ చేసుకొని అక్కడ పూర్తిగా గ్రౌండ్ లెవెల్ నుంచి వస్తున్న రిపోర్ట్స్ని తీసుకొని ఇక్కడ మానిటర్ చేసి పార్టీ గెలుపులో క్రియాశీలకంగా పనిచేసిన వ్యక్తులు. వాళ్ళు చెప్తున్న విషయాలు కూడా వాళ్ళు యాంటిసిపేట్ చేసింది జగన్మోహన్ రెడ్డి ఇప్పుడు ఏదైతే విక్టరీ చూశారో దగ్గర ఆల్మోస్ట్ అంత విక్టరీని వాళ్ళు ముందే ఊహించామని చెప్తున్నారు. అందుకే కాన్ఫిడెంట్గా ఆయనను సీఎం అని అనాల్సి వచ్చిందని కూడా ఐపాక్ సంబంధించిన టీం చెప్తున్నారు.